Hey guys, you're listening the Soccer Podcast. My name is Ruja, but you can call me Rose. I'm a football staff and former referee. But don't worry, I'm not here to show you any red or yellow card. Just get ready to kick off the undiscovered journey in women's football. Well, basically, I always start these soccer podcasts by using that Eurovision line like, "Hello, Sarajevo, this is Belgrade calling." But but today I'm not be the one to give you some points. I want to discuss with my dear friend and colleague Azra Numanović, officially General Secretary of SFK 2000 Sarajevo, champion of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Well,
Hi
however,
everyone from Sarajevo. 12 points, 12 points goes to Ruja and Serbia.
well, let's say to soccer podcast. It's enough.
Yeah, to soccer podcast, exactly.
Thank you. Well, being general secretary is not only thing that you do actually in football and SFK. So please, can we start by explaining all the roles you're covering at the moment?
Are you sure? Because we need the whole podcast for that.
Doesn't matter. Please let us. What are you doing in football at this point?
Okay, at this point, I'm Secretary General at SFK 2000 Sarajevo, the 19 consecutive championship title holder from Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'm also and 17 cup titles, so we have in total 36 titles, and we broke the world record. That is important to say. So next to being general secretary and doing all the paperwork that I actually don't like because I love football and being on the pitch, I'm still a player, even though not very active, especially during this season. I just played in the first half of the season a few minutes, and in the second part, none. But next to it, I'm doing everything. I'm doing our visuals, our design, video, photo materials. I'm doing event organization. I'm doing everything that you can do in a football club. So whatever you think about that you could do, I'm doing that. From carrying our equipment, from helping our coach at the training center, to organizing these and that, I'm doing everything.
Oh my God, unbelievable. How is that even possible for one person? Like, literally.
Yeah, it's possible when you love something you do. Because I never came to this club with applying to a job, so I didn't search for a job. I'm here since I was a young girl, and I love this club. I feel like it's my second home, like my second family. So when you love something and someone, you do everything you can to help and to develop and to provide everything that we need. So I don't have really any problems with doing everything that we need, from carrying the ball, still being general secretary at Uefa meetings, so from high standard meetings and jobs till the basic ones like doing the grass on the field. I don't know.
So do you like your UEFA suit better, or you are more into tracksuit?
I love my tracksuit the most. That's what is connecting me to all of this. It's football and it's the game. But I love also my UEFA, my secretary suit as well. I really enjoy that job. I do it with passion. I do it with knowledge that I'm collecting all these years. And I understand the material and the depth of football and women's football in particular. So I really enjoy every part of it.
Well, that's really impressive. But speaking of your club, I want this wider audience listening around the world to understand and hear more about your club. As I already know, you girls started from basically playing football in park in Sarajevo, and now you're the most successful women's football club in this region. So can you please tell us, no matter the time you need for that, can you tell us the story of SFK coming from the park to actually being what you are today, like world record holders? Come on, can you do it better than that?
Yeah, so it all started with our head coach. She's also the president and the founder of this club. She was part of FK Sarajevo. That's a different club that was way back then active and the best women's football club in Bosnia, but it was kind of closed for the girls that already played in the professional part of the club. So whenever a girl wanted to join the club, there was no space, no youth teams, no program for that. And our coach really wanted to develop the sport and to give every girl the opportunity to play. So she decided to make her own club. Even though she was at her high peak of her career, she was like captain of the team, playing for the national team. She was the best player in Bosnia. She decided to give space to the younger ones and to all of the girls. So she made SFK 2000 in year 2000, logically, even though people think that's our name that we made up. But actually, we were just a group of girls. She decided to make a club, and there was a men's football club called SFK 2000, founded in that year. And they said, okay, yeah, you can train with us and be part of our club. So we joined them. But after 2 years, the men's team stopped with work, and they didn't play anymore, and only the women's team remained there. So we took their name over, it just stayed with us, and it's here till today. So that's how we were founded, and we really started from the bottom, from the scratch. We were having training sessions on parking lots, on I don't know, parks. Then there was a closed stadium in a part of Sarajevo city, and we were jumping over the fence and having training sessions there. And there wasn't even grass; it was just a muddy field. And we were having training sessions
so classy
there.
for a girl, right?
Yeah, we don't mind doing those stuff. Everything is for girls when you want it to. So
Exactly.
that's how we started, and we really became champions of Bosnia, having training sessions there. So no one can say, "Oh, you have perfect conditions, that's why you're the best." No, that's not true. We didn't have anything. We didn't have any finances. We had maybe 10 balls, and that was everything we had. And there was a river next to this field. So whenever a ball got into the river, we were so sad because we lost one ball, we can't have another one, So that was our start, and we became champions even then. And then we just made our steps forward and grew even bigger and better throughout the years. And now we can say that we are not only the best women's football club, we are the best football club in Bosnia. We are better even than our men colleagues, and we are, and I can proudly say, the best organized team in this country. I'm not talking about our budget, of course. The men's team have a bigger budgets and they talk about millions, but when you talk about organization, perfection, expertise, knowledge, and everything, our club is really one of the best in Bosnia and Herzegovina, not only in football, but in all other sports as well.
Well, not only in Bosnia, I can confirm that basically you guys are one of the best, if not the best, organized clubs in entire Southeast Europe region. So it's really a huge achievement. But something that is really interesting from the information you shared with us about your beginnings, and something that's happening actually right now, is you started and had a name like the men's team. And now you're basically part of the, let's say, Sarajevo family, football club Sarajevo family. So basically you became an important part of the men's club, the club that has history. It's really important for Bosnia. So can you please tell us how you actually achieved that, how you became part of the Sarajevo family, and what does it mean for you? Is that something that women's clubs should look for or not?
Okay, so when we grew a lot as a team, we were first of all having training sessions at Grbavica Stadium, and whoever is watching or knows everything about Bosnian or Balkan football knows that in Sarajevo there are two big clubs, FK Sarajevo and FK Željezničar. And we had training sessions and our games at the FK Željezničar Stadium, actually. And for years, that lasted for years, and we were in really good cooperation with them. But then rumors in men's football started that UEFA or the FA or whoever will force or make a rule in men's football that they have to have a women's team if they want to get the license for UEFA competition or something like that. And then they realized, okay, we have SFK 2000 Sarajevo here. the best thing would be to have them part of our team, because they are already a formed team that is successful. We don't have to do everything from scratch, even though they weren't sure if it's true or not. But they were starting to think about it. But what happened is that FK Sarajevo was really haunting us. For like 2 years, whenever we met them, they were like, oh, you have to be part of FK Sarajevo, come to our team, we will give you this and that. And then we had meetings with both teams, and in the end we decided to go to FK Sarajevo because Željezničar wasn't that interested, and they didn't have enough resources to have us as a department there. And FK Sarajevo on the other side had a really good strategy and a vision. It was not only about come to FK Sarajevo, we will give you, I don't know, finances or whatever you need. It was really about they cared. They really had a great opinion about our team and about our titles and our results, and they really had a strategy for the future, what they want to do with us, how they see us in their family. So we decided to go to FK Sarajevo. So that's the moment when we joined the Maroon family, and that was a really good decision. Why? Because till 2015 we had such good sports results. We grew so much, but we couldn't handle it organized. Like from the administration part of view, you can't have that much success and those big competitions without having enough people, without having different departments, without being legally supported, etc., etc. So that helped us a lot. We finally had all departments from our men's team that we could use: legal department, marketing department, finances. Director of the club was with us every day and with every hour activity. So it was not only about having a stable budget, even though that is very important, and they helped us partly with that as well, but it was about having people behind your back helping you with everything that you need. So we outgrew our results, and we needed an institution to be part of in order to grow some more, because in Balkans and in this part of Europe, it's just impossible to be a women's sports team, not football team, but sports team, and to have everything organized, to have grants and financial support from the government, from other subjects as well. There are just no budgets and no system supporting sports, and you need just a bigger brother to take care of you. So that's the point where we decided to go to FK Sarajevo, and that's the point where our club grew even more and started to make even bigger results. So since being with FK Sarajevo, we managed to go to round of 32 in the UEFA Champions League twice. Before that, we needed like 8 years to do it twice. And with FK Sarajevo, we did it twice in 2 or 3 years. So that shows how this support was important and how it helped our team, our players to develop and to play even better. And I have to say again, it is not about finances, because our salaries didn't grow that much at that point, but our self-esteem and self-confidence was rising, and the players could feel that they have a system behind them and that they don't have to worry or be scared about their future, that everything will be okay, and you could immediately see that on the pitch.
And now, like 5-6 years after you started that cooperation, did you progress in the relationship between two clubs, actually, among the one club and one system, or you feel like that was just like motivation in the beginning?
Yeah, I think that now is the point where we have to reorganize our cooperation with FK Sarajevo and take it to a bigger step forward, or we just can't be stuck here where we just are. Because in the beginning, it helped us a lot to have these departments, to have these help and everything, but now our results grew, and UEFA Champions League is changing. Women's football is rising in all of Europe. Now the budgets of women's football clubs are being counted in millions. So if you don't make steps forward and just stay where you are, the other clubs will just run away. So you have to chase them and catch them. And we have to make another strategy now. They have to do another strategy with their team as well, because our men's team is also being stuck with their results and not making any bigger progress in European football. And they want to do it because they have an investor and they have really to make this step forward. They lost the championship title just a few weeks ago, even though they have 13 points advantage. So in the next 2 months, we will all sit down and make a whole new strategy that will include the relationship between our women's team and the men's team and what we are going to do in the future. Because a very important thing is that we didn't merge with FK Sarajevo fully. We are still a different legal subject. So we are not FK Sarajevo by statute and our documents. We are still SFK 2000 Sarajevo, and the connection with the men's team is through a memorandum of understanding where we have different articles that say what these relationship is being made of. So that's the thing that we have to do now.
Well, fingers crossed. I hope that men will step up again and show how they respect, and show that actually you girls are a big part of their strategy when we speak about their advance of everything they do. So, like, let's say fingers crossed for the next step of FK and SFK family.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned playing Champions League, being part of the round of 32 teams. Well, I'm not sure that you actually said everything about you guys participating at the Champions League. I also know that you hosted many tournaments and many other things. So let's speak about the success of SFK in Champions League.
This year it will be our 19th season in the UEFA Champions League. So that's
wow.
I think we are the team we are with most UEFA appearances. No one played Champions League more than us, I think. So that's why we have a lot of experience, and everything we did till now was good. We organized everything very well, and UEFA is really recognizing those things. That's why they had trust in us to be host of the qualifying round for 9 years. And that's a big thing. It shows that they really see and that they respect our work, and that we have something to give and to provide to this competition. That's very important, because everyone knows what Champions League is, and that's the brand of Champions League is the most popular football part in the whole world, not only in Europe. It's a European competition, but it's the biggest football competition in the world. And when you are part of it, when you are good in it, and when UEFA is giving you the privilege to be the host so many times, and to be in the end this year part of the working group that is working on a new format of the Champions League, then it shows that you are doing a really good job. And we really did. We had perfect comments from the delegates every year, and we are in good communication with UEFA about everything that happens, with problems, with new things, with some improvements and other stuff. So that's what is maybe our best result in European competition, not only our results on the field and the going to round of 32. It's about being a good organizer of this big competition and being there every year, and being now even a part of a body that is not decision making, but decision making in terms of making a new format, and then of course the executive committee makes the final decision. And it happened. The executive committee made a final decision, and everything that we have done was approved. So now we have a new format of the Women's Champions League, and SFK 2000 Sarajevo was part of that body that was making it.
Well, that's really, really something to be proud of. And speaking of the new Champions League competition and system and everything that is happening, can you please explain to our listeners, for the club like SFK, for example, what does the new system means? How is gonna look like? Do you think it's better? How do you now compete against the biggest clubs in the Europe? Because as I know, also those meetings when you were guys discussing the reforms and everything also were some kind of, like bigger fish speaking to a smaller fish. And now I just want to hear how you guys actually managed to stay at the same level like you were before and not help them make some kind of a super league or something.
Yeah, so that was my part of the job, being part of that ECA and UEFA body that was working on that new format. I was the voice of this kind of clubs in Europe, like subdivision 2 or 3, and I was all the time pulling regulations and stuff towards the smaller, let's say smaller teams, and not to focus only on the knockout stage and the very end of the Champions League, and to put every sponsorship regulation finances there. I just showed them every time on every meeting with arguments that is very important to also look down to the clubs playing the qualifiers and even the clubs playing in domestic leagues, and that's the foundation of football. Never forget that it's not only about the 10 top clubs in Europe. That's only 2% of all players in Europe. So football is not made out of 10 teams. Football is made out of all the thousands and thousands of girls playing in all of the clubs, and if you forget them and give everything to the top clubs, then you will eventually have something like a super league that will not help to develop this sport at all. And that was especially important for women's football, because women's football is now developing. It's not at the point where the men's football is. It is already a business, a made-up system that is working for years. Women's football needs development now, and if you don't give the opportunity to smaller clubs and to all leagues in Europe, not only the 5 top leagues, then we're gonna have a big problem that they have now in men's football. A big gap that can't be filled, that can't be reached anymore. So it happened that we really made better conditions in the qualifiers as well. So part of the increased budget will also be given to the teams in the qualifiers. So the finances there also grew up a lot. It will help them to not only provide organization and the matches, so now they can really feel that they have something out of the Women's Champions League. Because I said them, except that you are proud of being part of the Women's Champions League in the qualifiers, you have nothing else out of that competition. So if you're thinking about going broke or bankrupt because you're playing Champions League, then this brand is not showing excellence as we want to show. And if women's football and if Women's Champions League is a competition of excellence, then it has to be excellence from the bottom till the very top. And that's what we made. So the qualifiers were improved, and even a very, very important thing is also happening now with the Champions League. So not only for the clubs participating, but for all the clubs in all leagues, there will be a solidarity mechanism for clubs that are part of the leagues where the teams participating are coming from. The first idea was to give this solidarity payment to the leagues that qualify to the group stage and onwards. But I said, don't forget about the leagues down there from the qualifiers. Why wouldn't, I don't know, Bosnia, Serbia, Montenegro, if we drop out and if we don't reach group stage, what we are getting there? So we will still stay without any finances, and the top teams will go even further, and this gap will be bigger and bigger. So think about the other ones. And they said, yeah, you are right. Even though I was very surprised and very proud of, and I thank them again, the big clubs, especially the representative Olympic Lyon, agreed with me, and they said, yeah, we can't forget the smaller clubs and the smaller leagues. They need support as well. So every team, every league from every team participating will get now a solidarity payment, even the clubs playing in the qualifiers. So all top division teams from, for example, Bosnia, will get a solidarity payment because SFK 2000 Sarajevo is playing in the qualifiers. And
so basically, they have a reason to support you guys, which is also good for the community.
Yeah. Till now, some of them didn't want to support us. They're like, I don't care about SFK Sarajevo. They can drop out immediately. But if it's my opinion, so now they have a reason to support us, even though they didn't do that before. And as far as we go, the more we advance, the more money they will get. So they will have a reason to cheer for us.
Wow, so you're actually getting a new fan base. I can see that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's a big thing for women's football, and I think it will help a lot smaller clubs. They will have now a basis and something to look up.
But speaking of competition itself, what are the differences?
Yeah, the differences are that now after the qualifying round, you don't have immediately a knockout stage. Now, before it was after the qualifying round, you go to round of 32 and then so on. Now you have something that is very similar to the men's competition. After the first rounds of qualifying round, you have round two, that is a knockout game with the team that also advanced to from the round one, and the winner of this round two match system will go to the group stage, and this group stage will be the same as the men's competition. You have 4 teams in the group, everyone plays with everyone, and the biggest clubs, of course, are waiting there in the group stage, so they will already fill pot 1 and pot 2, or um, place 1, place 2, and the other ones will be filled out of the qualifiers. So that's a big thing, that now we're gonna have a group stage that is centralized. We have new sponsors around the women's competition brands, and that will change a lot. It will be high quality matches with TV broadcast, etc. It will really be something new.
So, do you actually feel that now we are having that step up and that progress we've been waiting for in women's football? Like, is this that year? I mean, okay, let's say next year, because we have other issues as a world community as well. So, basically, do you think that this post-COVID era, let's say like that, is the era where women's football we're gonna grow?
Yeah, I think definitely that this is the turning point, because 4 years ago UEFA decided that they will make women's football to be their focus, and it all started with the researches, with strategies, with changing of these and that. But really now you can feel that something is actually changing, that we have something new, that we have something better, that we have something bigger, and this new format of the Women's Champions League is that point where everything will change. And I truly believe that, because already now the budget increased a lot. The first time now the Women's Champions League has its own sponsors. It's not a package of the men's competition that the sponsors get. Now they can apply, and they can be sponsors only for the women's competition and only for the Women's Champions League. That is a big difference when you compare it to the women's football world before and now. Now the brand is important. Now women's football is important, and now big names are turning to women's sport. They don't have to be sponsors of the men's competition anymore. They are only looking towards the women's competition. That's important. As we could see, the women's final was for years 2 days before the men's final at the same place or in the same town. Now it's not like that anymore. It is becoming its own final with its own date when it's being played in another country. So women's football is not a shadow of men's football anymore. Now it's a separate brand of its own that's going to grow a lot in the next period.
And do you think that actually FIFA with the World Cup is following that? Because the biggest issue I have as someone working in women's football and then following and supporting the women's football is between two World Cups, you have huge gap. I mean, you have all the attention for the World Cup when it's happening, but then after the World Cup is over, you don't see those people following those ladies actually stay and follow the women's football. So how do we actually lose those people, and how can we bring them back to the attention to the women's football?
Yeah, so I think this will help a lot, as I said, because the European competition, the UEFA Euro, Women's Euro, will also be a bigger event now than it was before. And that will make the gap smaller between one World Cup to the other. I think the focus will now stay on women's football, even though I think FIFA also can see, and they are active in this whole process. They know what is happening with women's football in Europe, and I think they want to follow it. They have also a strategy that they published just few days ago, or it will happen now in these days, a big research about women's football, and they made it in order to make a strategy to give focus to women's football in the whole world in the next period, and to follow the steps that UEFA is making with the Champions League and with the Women's Euro. So I think they will also do some other steps to make women's football greater and better in on our whole planet, and not only here, because it's different. Football and women's football is very developed now in Europe, but in other parts of the world it's very different, and they need to make those steps that we made 15 years ago in order to get here where we are now.
Yes, well, we say that the progress in Europe is not comparable to the rest of the world, and then we have USA being the best in the world. So we still have something to learn from each other. But speaking about the money and all the progress that it is being made in that area, can we say the same about the sponsorships in women's football? But not speaking of UEFA Champions League as a brand, but speaking of, for example, SFK 2000 Sarajevo. Do you feel like there is a movement, that there are more companies interested in investing in you, or you still have to work even more to get them to see you as a potential business partner? Because we still don't see those individual brands that you girls have. I mean, you are the brand itself inside of the SFK, and you can be promoted and endorsed by some companies. And are they approaching you, or are you approaching them? Is there any gap, or something is actually happening?
In Balkans and this part of Europe, it is always like that you are reaching out to them, and not that the companies are reaching out to the clubs, whoever they are, men's or women's, it doesn't matter. So we don't have that thing happening that the companies are reaching out to the sports club. But what is very important, it changed a lot. 10 years ago, we actually couldn't get a sponsor, and it was maybe small donations when you ask for it. It was just help towards women's football. But now we are talking about ourselves as a brand and as a great story that you can be part of, and the perception towards women's football changed a lot. So now that the companies and the institutions are not looking down to women's football as something that they are just helping with some finances, now they see it really as being a sponsor and giving a sponsorship and having their visual place in our brand. That's very important. And it even happened, even though we merged with the men's team of FK Sarajevo, there actually are some companies that don't want to be sponsor of the men's team. They want to be specifically sponsors of our women's team, and they say that out loudly because they like our brand, they like our story, they want to be part of the successful path, and they are choosing to be our sponsors because of that. So that really changed. That changed a lot. But generally, the situation with companies and sponsorships in this part of Europe is very, very difficult. And that's something that has to be changed at another level. It's not about that the companies don't want to invest in football. They just don't want to invest in football because of other reasons. They have to pay taxes if they want to be sponsors. So that's a very complicated thing that we have to now start to have meetings with our government, with our institutions to talk about that. That's not normal, because in other countries in Europe, and not only Europe, in the world, if you are a sponsor of a sports team, you are free of taxes, or you have some good things that come with that. Here, if you want to be a sponsor, you have to pay extra money, so the companies have no reason to be sponsors of a sports club, because there is no revenue that they can get out of that marketing space here. There are no millions of people that are buying merchandise. There are no thousands and thousands of people that are coming to the stadium. It's just the business picture in this part of Europe is very different, and the big companies, they just can't make any revenue out of that marketing deals. We have to speak the truth. It is just about their visibility, about their activism if they are part of sports, but there is nothing more that they can get out of it. So there is a bigger thing that we have to change here with the government, with the institutions, and to make a better to make better conditions for them to actually approach clubs and be part of them and give sponsorships. Because if you have to pay additional taxes to be a sponsor, then you can just imagine how difficult it is to get a sponsor, especially when you are a women's sports club.
The funny thing is that when we were one country, when we were Yugoslavia, we had that law actually that allowed companies to invest in sport and then have no taxes at all to pay if they do that. And the even funniest thing is that many Western countries actually copied that law from Yugoslavia, and now us, who are separate countries, who made that law, we are not having it. So, I mean, that's the irony of this region, I may say. But we'll get there. We'll get there again. I'm sure.
Unfortunately.
Well, we can speak about SFK and women's football. I mean, especially you and me. We can speak like for hours. But to conclude this amazing episode, I would like to ask you for advice to other clubs from this region, what they should do to become next SFK. Because I mean, it's awesome what you're doing, actually, girls, but we need more clubs like SFK. I mean, even you in Bosnia need more clubs like your own, so that you can progress and etc. So basically, what is your advice? Like, how do we get more SFK 2000 Sarajevo?
So how did we do this? Just train, go to training sessions every day and do it for years. That's the only thing that you can actually do. There is no magic behind our football that we are playing. There is no magic stick that we turn around and we play perfect football on the pitch. We go to training sessions every day for years, and that's why we are best. We don't have breaks. Now after this season, we're gonna have a break that will be maybe 2 weeks. That's it. We are on the field having training sessions and having an amazing coach who knows what she is doing. That's also important. I know that it's impossible to have a high-class coach if he or she is not paid, and that's a different story. But if you find someone, and only women that played football can understand this and do it out of love, till they come to the point where they can have a stable budget to be paid. But you have to have someone who knows football, who is an expert in football, and he or she needs to be able to transfer this philosophy to the players, that they really feel that it's important to come to every training session. It's important to be focused. It's important to give your best when you are losing, when you are winning. And the magic behind our results is that when we are winning 5, I can remember this match like it was this morning. We won 6-0. And everyone would say, yeah, great, you won 6-0, you can go home happily, and that's it, that you have nothing to do better. But our coach was so mad at us because we didn't play the tactic that she said. She was so mad. We had the training session immediately, and 5 days after that, the atmosphere was like, I don't know, like we lost every game. So that's what I want to say, and that's a great thing. We had a video analysis of this game. We had training sessions, extra training sessions because of this game. Because it's not about the good things you do. You have to analyze your mistakes and to make them better. That's why SFK is the best. We are having training sessions every day. We are not happy when we are winning. We are not happy only because of goals. We are just happy when we play good tactics and when we are disciplined. And that's how you get to be like SFK 2000.
Wow, amazing. I mean, it looks like it's simple, but actually it's not simple. It's all about the practice and dedication, definitely. Well, I wish the best of luck to you guys in the new season of the Champions League. I hope that maybe this season you can go even further, that you can qualify for that elite group stage, let's call it that way, because you definitely deserve. If there is someone from this area, and I'm not from your country, who I'm actually supporting to get there, that's definitely gonna be you guys. So best of luck and make us all proud.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this hour of talking about women's football. I think it's always important to talk about it, and I hope as well that we will make a good result this year. Thank you very much for this talk.
Well, this is that soccer is all about. So we're starting here.
Thank you one more time.